For the makeup, I wanted the paint to match exactly with the costume that we had used, and I was experimenting with makeup on my arm one day, and just I found that I was painting my wig that same day, and as I had tried to wash off the makeup, I noticed that the paint was coming off my hands easier than the makeup itself. So I looked into it, and I found out that paint has a lot of regulations. So the same paint that I use for my wall, I am painting on my skin. A lot of regulations to keep it safe and non-toxic, and so I felt like it was something that I could go ahead and paint on our skin, and it was really easy to get off. So this is just Valspar Rugged Suede, good old leftover paint from my downstairs bathroom. I painted just one coat is all you'll need, and around my eye area I used a craft paint. This is kind of a little bit lighter and not as thick, so it wasn't pulling those softer areas. I noticed on my husband and I, especially those softer areas around our eye, we needed a lighter paint. So I recommend getting your hair in a wig cap, and to have it evenly dispersed, I always try to braid mine and get it so that the wig will be even on your head. And it helps, especially if you have a lot of hair, to keep a wig cap over the top of it. My daughter, she's got short hair and not a lot of hair, so we just didn't use a wig cap and pinned her wig on, and she really had a blast with this. She didn't want to take the makeup off at the end of the night, which I will say that the paint comes off just with a sponge and soap. It was just not even, it just falls right off. You don't have to scrub. For the second coating, I found this online. It's a Amazon has all kinds of masks that are organic, and you can put it over the top, and then once it crackles, that paint underneath stays, so you just see the crackled effect on top. And I would just kind of like obviously have things to do and let things dry in between. On top of once you've dried that second coat of any type of mask that is a mineral-based organic mask, it will dry over the top of the paint without the paint cracking. So then I would just take, this is the MAC palette, the Chrome Cake. I've had that palette for years. It's just lasted forever. I've used it for several of our looks. But on turning your brush sideways, you can kind of skim across areas that the clay has formed, whether you want to create more of a crackled look. It just depends on how much of the clay you use. I would recommend getting the clay on your face and as thin as you can, but just depending on how much of the crackled look you're going for, just make it your own. I felt like for me, I wanted to put on these big lashes because I wanted to kind of have it be one soft element. I just kind of always think that's cool, where a lot of people would be like, oh wow, this really is a human. So you can kind of see as the makeup wears on, the paint and also the mask on the top crack a little bit more as it dries. And then for my husband's hair, just I think any texture that you can create. He had the right color on his sides. He has got this awesome gray hair on the sides. So I just also used the same for the white. This is the Chrome Cake by MAC. So it really is a makeup, but I'm using it for his hair. It washes out just with shampoo. It doesn't cake in the hair. It's not difficult to get out at all. So you can kind of just shade around on the hair if they're not going to be wearing a wig. And then same thing here. You can see he's kind of moving his face to allow for the paint to dry in a certain, so that there's no pulling and clumping. And then putting the wig on here, we were just getting ready to go. There's a tutorial for the wig, and then the dress that I also painted the dress and everything, and we made the wings out of styrofoam, and the accessories we just used from things that we painted that we'd already had around the house. Jer's wings on backwards there. And I also painted that bouquet of flowers. I just used some dried fresh flowers, and the wig is made out of yarn. And then I just kind of used like a little Lululemon bag and connected that around my shoulders, and we put the wings on styrofoam. A lot of these pictures were taken by strangers. This one, I just handed my phone to a stranger who was in the audience. We ended up actually getting called on stage downtown in Las Vegas. We won some money when we went down dressed like this. It was not expected, but we had a really good time. And my daughter just enjoyed it after she saw our look. We created hers, and we hope you enjoy this. Hopefully you can get some tips and tricks, and I would just suggest that make it your own and just get inspired off of what you love. And happy Halloween.